This is Matt Lyman coming to you on location in Schenectady, New York. We are here now with Orlando Fields, who has given us permission to interview him regarding the property that is behind us on camera. Orlando has his position regarding the property and the condition of it and the landlord, and we're going to give him an opportunity to share that perspective. Orlando, you have given us permission to interview you?
Yes, I have.
And the property that you live at is behind us?
Yes.
And that property would be where the truck and the other trucks are?
Yes, those are my trucks.
Okay, those are your vehicles. What about the stuff in front when the trash cans are?
The trash cans, that is a lady that was living downstairs that's been out for about 3 months, and no one, especially the landlord, has never came over to pick up. You know, I've picked up behind her in the past, but it's not my job to pick up behind her in the past. I haven't saw my landlord in probably since maybe January, but he didn't even come ring my bell. I was sitting in my car and he came, walked inside of her house, saw what was going on inside of her house after she moved out, and then he got back in his truck. He only got out the car to talk to me because he saw that I was filming him.
The question that is occurring is the condition of the property, code enforcement involved, the landlord having issues of getting the property back, and, you know, that's another matter. But getting the property back, but his claim is that 99% or more of what's behind you is because of you. Would you say that's yes or no? Is that true or not true?
Well, I would say about 80% is me. Well, the thing is that's my truck, that's my bike, that's my trailer, and that's my car. I own those. So if code enforcement is getting involved because I own vehicles that are registered and insured, then I don't know what's the problem. That's.
And there's also a license. They're registered and insured with you, and they do have a license.
Yeah, I have a license. Yes.
Okay. Now, when we look at the stuff that's in front of the truck, beside the truck, when we look at that, what would you say would be done with the stuff that you pick it up every night?
Okay, so the stuff that's in front of the truck, I literally swept that. I've been sweeping the trash see these cans right here?
Yes.
I swept that those cans was there probably since she's been here, you know, and we had complaints about it. We had police involved. I spoke to the landlord numerous times about her garbage. That was one of the biggest problems why code enforcement was coming. And once she moved out, he never came and cleaned up after her. She still has a whole bunch of like debris and whatever property that she left over on the porch. She has not came and cleaned that up at all. He hasn't came and dumped her garbage, so I took matters into my hand and I dumped her garbage. He's never came in the sink or anything. He hasn't came for nothing.
Now, is that sink yours or his? Or
that sink, it was in the driveway.
But the back seat is yours. And
the back seat, that belonged to me, and I had someone come in to pick it. It's been out here for about 3 days. I had someone else supposed to be coming to pick it up. But the garbage, I'm cleaning up pretty much a property myself. I don't have contractor bags yet, but he hasn't came to provide contractor. He hasn't came to provide garbage cans. To be honest with you, the garbage cans that are there, I provided that for his tenant that was downstairs because she was just throwing garbage on the floor.
That's not right.
Yeah, he never even provided the garbage. I provided the garbage can. I provided 6 garbage cans for her.
Let me ask you this: is there a reason why?
Oh, I parked my truck on the front lawn, particularly because, you know, I parked it there. I have no explanation. Honestly, I parked it there, and a lot of times I load stuff on and unload it. It's been at my garage. I have a garage. I have an actual shop. So honestly, it's just been at the shop. But I parked it there on the grass. It's not going to even stay there, honestly, because I'm about to actually bring it into the driveway and hook it up to my trailer. So, and my other truck is going to my shop. So I honestly just parked it there to kind of be out the way of everybody. It's not much parking on the streets. Like I don't really have nowhere.
Well, honestly, I mean, I do see, not to be a jerk, but I do see parking spaces.
Yeah, I would have
Make me far away from your house.
Well, I mean, I'll have to go down the street, but
no. What about
convenient for myself?
What about the gray car?
The gray car, that is my vehicle.
Okay. So you got 3 vehicles on a motorcycle on the property. That's a little much for one apartment. That may be one of the issues that code has. I used
to say about the vehicles. If there was ever a problem, my landlord could have came and spoke to me about me having the vehicles. And I own a shop. I own an auto shop, so I could have.
I remember you saying that before we spoke.
I could have used my trailer to actually tow it back to my shop, or I could have drove it back to my shop. My vehicles run. This runs and that runs. They both run. I'm changing my headlights. This is the headlights. I was changing the headlights. I took the headlights off. I haven't been in a rush. I don't feel like I had to, be needed to rush to put headlights back on my car. I have the headlights.
But this landlord has been dealing with code violations in this house from cited for. Disrespect you, a lot of that is because of the property that you have here. And they're looking to see about you getting out of here so that the landlord can hopefully do the rest of the stuff on the property. So the code violations and the code department will leave him alone. Put you on the spot when you'll be able to make that look presentable.
Well, technically, this truck has been here for probably like 2 weeks on the grass. It probably has been like 2 weeks. Like I said, I was literally about to, in the morning, hook my truck right here to the trailer, and I was actually going to get this truck to my garage. But I've been trying to make it like presentable, and I've been here for about 6 years. So, for them to say it's because of me, that's absolutely false. It was because his last tenant that he did have here, and I made complaints to him about it as well, and he never showed up to fix it. He didn't care. Technically, he didn't care. It was mainly not me. It was her garbage, and she's probably blaming it on me, but it was her garbage because this truck hasn't been on this grass for a long time, and my motorcycle is my motorcycle. It's just a motorcycle. This trash, I'm cleaning up her trash. So it was like 3 garbage cans, and some of it was like all around her garbage cans. I'm cleaning up that. He never came over here to talk about it. He never came up here to clean it up. He never came up here to give me equipment to clean it up. He doesn't come around here, period. When it comes to snowing and shoveling and like salt, I provide everything. He doesn't come over here to touch the grass. I haven't had heat in my house since December. He hasn't been over for that to touch that subject. He hasn't touched anything. My stove hasn't worked in about 2 years.
Now, the argument would be, is not putting you on the spot, but if it hasn't worked since December, no heat, and you haven't had the working stove in 2 years, a lot of people and the attorney will ask, is why haven't you moved with those situations?
Well, the problem is that after the pandemic ended, it wasn't that many apartments to pretty much go to. Like the choices of apartments were close to none. I have a 1-year-old. He's going on 2 now. So me just jumping from one house to another. And if you see the advertisement of these houses, they're not sanitizing or not. They're not cleaning up the houses. You'll see pictures of like people's belongings that just moved out of the house, swept into a corner, and the people were still advertising. And then it was real expensive. I've been paying $975 here for about 5 years, 6 years. These places they wanted $1,300 for nothing, and it wasn't safe. And then at the same time, it wasn't too much available. People were being evicted out of their house left and right, and everyone's trying to find a place. So I thought that it would be more ideal for me to wait till the wave, settled and then move. Because honestly, I don't want to stay here.
Yeah, a lot of landlords, because of the eviction moratoriums and the declaration of hardship and the ERAP program, have been very reluctant to rent to tenants because they're very new and because it's so hard to get them out. And that may be one of the reasons why, a few reasons why you can't find another place.
And also, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be. I'm here to honestly because I have to be here until I can find a place. But my biggest issue is not finding a place. My biggest issue is that the way that my landlord is going about this whole process, he's trying to evict me instead of talk to me about a situation of moving or what he's trying to do with the property. My heat hasn't been working since December. My kid hasn't been at my house. My girlfriend, they've been at her mother's house. I haven't had I have a video of him cutting back on my hot water. So someone deliberately cut off my hot water. I have a video of him going back in the basement, cutting on my hot water, turning our hot water back up.
Would you say you have a video of it being done or a video of him actually doing it?
A video of him actually going down and turning my heat and my hot water back up. And I have text messages of me complaining to him about the problem.
Right, but turning the heat up is not turning the heat down. You have a video of him turning the heat on the hot water up, but you don't have a video of him turning it down.
I don't have a video of him turning it down. I have a video of him turning it back up. But that was about February.
You mean turning it up, not back up, because you don't know that he turned it off. You have a video of
I don't know if he turned it off or who turned it off, but someone turned it down, turned it off, and I have a video of him turning it up. But like I said, it's just I have text messages. I copied everything since about last year, January, of me messaging him. Us talking about him coming to collect rent. He's been ignoring my texts, and then he'll answer it, and then after that, he'll stop answering it. and that was going on. So even during the pandemic, I have proof of me trying to work out things on us coming to.
Would you say, Orlando, that with the amount of rent that he may claim that you owe, if he were to come here today or tomorrow, maybe with somebody with him, not just himself, would you say, and I'm not saying you have to, but would you give him the rent money that he claims that you owe and that you said that you may owe him?
Honestly, I will go to court and I'll make sure he fix everything that's wrong in my place, and then we could talk about payment. Honestly, I don't even want to be here, to be honest with you. He doesn't even have to evict me. I want to move.
Have you ever given the landlord a list of the things that may be wrong with the apartment?
Yes, I have that in text messages too, and I have that copied on paper of things that's wrong with it, and he just ignored me.
So you did give him that, okay. And nothing was done, he didn't fix anything?
Nothing was done. I got code enforcement involved. He had court on June 1st, so I don't even know what's the outcome of that.
I know that code is still involved in this case, and I know that they're still checking out and maybe looking at the. But we can see here at the property with Mr. Fields that there are issues here that him and the landlord may have situations that they need to correct together or separately. We're going to be looking at that later on. But Mr. Fields, thank you for talking about this. A positive for all of you.
I pretty much feel like that I just don't trust him, and knowing that moved downstairs, been like 3 different tenants since I've been here. Nobody trusts him, and I don't like the way he goes about his business whatsoever. Like, he's pretty much coming over here trying to point out, oh, hey, my tenant downstairs owns a lot. So he's pretty much trying to act like that I'm doing something wrong by owning a lot.
Now, how long have you felt this way about the landlord?
He's just been doing it probably since last year. Like, since this whole like the end of the pandemic, he's just been ignoring my text messages. He hasn't been like collecting pay. He hasn't been communicating. He hasn't came and fixed nothing. Like I said, out.
Has he asked you at any time to move out? Did he take you to court or anything like that? Any time for that?
He's never like took me to court. He took me to court, tried to like take me to court for like rental assistance, like for like not paying rent. But I have text messages of me telling him to come take rent, and then I applied for the EVAP, how you say it? I can't remember exactly how you say it. And
how much did ERAP pay for you? Do you remember how many months or how much?
I can't remember honestly, but I know they paid for it. And then he tried to deny when we was at court that they didn't pay it, and I had the paperwork because he didn't know that they mailed me the paperwork saying that I was accepted and they paid him. And he tried to lie to his own lawyer, and then they called the place, and I had a lady from SCAP also there, and they called the place and they verified that it went to his bank account. And then the case was sealed. It was closed. So instead of him coming back again after that and say, hey, Orlando, it's a fresh start now. Can I come start collecting rent, or can I come by the house and see the property? He hasn't even came over here and checked the property. There's a piece of the roof. It's a piece of the roof at the top. That's missing. That slid off and almost landed on one of my vehicles. And then I have a missing window here that's been missing for like months, and like honestly, since I moved in, he said he was going to fix it. This goes on and on, and stuff he said he was going to fix. Like I said, I have no heat since December. I have no stove. I haven't had a stove in 2 years. My light inside my kitchen, there's a shortage, and I don't even use my kitchen light because I don't want to have a fire. I have a plumbing issue where I have to literally fill up the toilet myself to flush the toilet, and my sink doesn't drain, and he has not been here for none of it. Nothing.
Do you see a time in the future that you might be leaving this place, either through court or by your own will to get out of here?
On my own will, I want to get out of here, but I want to make sure that everything is sealed with court. I want everyone to understand that it's not me being like a absolute like awful tenant, because I've been here for 6 years. Like he could have been evicted me if it was a problem like on year 1 or year 2. I've been here for about 6 years. It's just that he's just stopped coming around since him and his last tenant downstairs had their issue, and it was just like the garbage. And she was calling code enforcement for everything. She had a whole bunch of problems in her house, and she was calling code enforcement. They was here almost every week, so he was getting fines because of her. So after that, she's gone. So instead of him saying that he's trying to sell the property, he's trying to like push it out like I'm holding on to his property. I'm not here to hold on to your property. Your property, it could be a better property, but he's not putting an effort for his tenants that especially been loyal to him. Other properties out there, I can afford other properties. He hasn't been like just being like a decent human being. So, but
a lot of people say that ERAT may have paid 10 or 12 or 15 months worth of your rent. And how much is your monthly rent here?
I'm sorry, one more time.
How much is your monthly rent?
$975.
So 975. So ERAT may have paid 10 or 12 months of that. There's an allegation, I guess, that you owe a few more months. You say since December.
Yeah, he hasn't been.
So it says December till June. Nothing's been paid him. ERAT paid that. A lot of people would say that maybe with the money that you did not have to pay for ERAT paying and the last 7 months on December, 7 months of no rent paid, that you might have enough money to take that and move because it didn't go to the landlord. So a lot of people would say that maybe you should take the money you didn't pay and move. What would you say to those people?
I think that, yeah, I would like to move, but like I said, I would like him to, like, I would like to deal with the court because he's trying to take me to court. I want him to take me to court because he's a criminal. It's a plain.
Take me to court for what?
He's trying to take me to court for rent.
Okay. So non-payment eviction. He's trying.
But he just had court June 1st for going AWOL. He's went AWOL on his tenants. Completely went AWOL. He hasn't showed up. He hasn't called. He hasn't showed up to fix nothing. He hasn't checked up. He hasn't even checked the property. Even if you're not gonna come over and here and like talk to me about anything, at least come and check your property because technically someone still lives here. I mean, you haven't checked your basement. You haven't. Yeah, you know, my stove, you haven't checked anything. This house is set on fire. It could go kaboom and everything, and you wouldn't even know it because you haven't came to check. The person that lived downstairs, the light has been on since they left. He hasn't came on. He hasn't even came to cut the light off. He hasn't came. Like I said, their trash on the porch from when they moved out has been there, and he hasn't even came to ask about it. He hasn't came to do anything about it. He hasn't came to check it. He hasn't nothing. He came here one time, walked inside the place, came back out, and he came up with a story telling me that the people with the boiler was going to be coming soon this week, and as usual, he told me that 3 times, and he never came.
Well, hopefully, between whatever he may have in court going with you and maybe with code enforcement, there'll be maybe a happy partition between you and him, that you'll move. He'll fix the things that may need to get fixed. If it's his responsibility, whoever, that's for the judge to determine. But I think that's a wrap. Orlando, thank you very much for speaking with me.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My biggest problem, like I said, is like I just want him to I don't want stuff like this to be on my credit or anything like that, and like I just want him to understand, want the courts to understand that he pretty much is a criminal. I had a whole 1-year-old baby inside that house, and my heat stopped working in December. He never even showed up to talk to me about payment. He never showed up to fix the heat. He said he was going to come and do it, and he just never did it. So that's why code enforcement is involved. I have the paperwork saying that if he doesn't come to court, there's going to be a warrant for his arrest, or it's going to...
Well, he'll be in court because he has an attorney that represents him.
That was June 1st.
Right, so the attorney will be there with, I don't know whether the landlord will be there, but he does have an attorney who will be there to address the situations that you and him may have, whether it be the old tenant, the current tenant, the damage, the property. That will all be probably looked at in code court when that next is. Do you know what day that will be? Do you know?
He had code court on June 1st.
Is there another date that they scheduled it?
I haven't seen another date whatsoever. That was just June 1st. I don't know if he went there or not. That was actually they actually made the order for that June 17th.
So they may be coming back.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, May 17th. That's
May 17th. So they may be coming back to court to address this stuff. But we'll see what happens then. And maybe we'll do a follow-up story.
He's making up stories. He's pretty much not... This is my belongings. Like he's just saying okay, I have a truck and I have a trailer and I have a motorcycle. That's not a crime to have a truck, a trailer, and a motorcycle. And pretty much the garbage that's there, that's his tenant's garbage that I'm cleaning up from after they left. He didn't come and clean it up.
It's a little much for one landlord to have to deal with.
I mean, hey, he could have came and spoke to me about it. He didn't. So this is my belongings. I feel like it's not a crime to have it. If it was an issue because he maybe wanted to move someone else in and he wanted me to make space for somebody else, I could have made arrangements. It could have been easy as 1, 2, 3. I could have just moved it to my garage and it would have been this, that. But instead of him saying anything, he's just not saying that at all.
We'll see what happens.
And just being shady about it because, like I said, I have opportunity. My credit ain't bad, so it's like, all right, well, I have a girlfriend. She has a government job. She works right from the hospital. I run a garage. I do Grubhub as well. I could sell a damn vehicle, sell these damn trucks. I don't care about it, and I'll be able to make my way. It doesn't. I have. That's what the landlord wants is to make your way out of here. Yeah. Make your way out of here. I want my way out of here. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna turn my back to the camera. Yeah, the camera's on. Yeah, the camera's on.
I know still, but I didn't want to say it, but technically, I feel like all right. This sounds petty. I don't want to say it, but so I had two different like people that lived downstairs, Italian family and the other family that moved in when I first came in. The lady was my complexion, and ever since she moved in, I feel like he just neglected everything. You know what I mean? And it's like I felt like he was trying to like run us congruent, like us together, like like.
And you went together because you're upstairs.
I don't know her.
Like,
I just live here. That's not my friend. So I felt like he was trying to like put us together with stuff, and I felt like that's why I felt too, because he started acting funny towards me because he was having problems with her. Like I said, this truck has only been here for about 3, maybe 2 weeks.
I think a lot of what would help is that you put that on the street, the truck on the street, and they're not the front lawn.
This truck has been here for 2 weeks, so for him to, bring up my truck, and I
brought up your truck, not him necessarily. I'm just brought up,
what I mean is like enforcement, everything. You're talking about like my truck being on the grass. You're talking about, me having a trailer and a car and a bike and a truck outside. I mean, not for nothing. If stuff was clean over here and your tenant that was living here didn't have like bottles all over the place, I'm cleaning up after their stuff. So if I have I have to come out my way to do that for him and her, that's not fair for me. And if it was clean over here and I had a truck and I had a trailer, it wouldn't look bad if I had a truck.
How long has she been gone from the property?
She's been gone for about this is March, I think.
So she's been gone. So yeah, this is June. So she's been gone a few months.
I work. I have my own stuff going on, and my girlfriend has her own stuff going on. So it's like it's not like I have my own life to be going on except clean after his property and clean up after his tenant that moved out. That's why it took me a little. I even noticed some of the stuff that was like I noticed it, but I have my own stuff. If you don't have to take time out, I always have to do it. It's not the first time. I
didn't know if you want to get rid of. I mean, honestly, the vehicles and the equipment and all that. It just looks so not confused, but it looks so compact, almost like a hoarder situation.
Well, the way I look at it is like this. I have a truck and I have a trailer. I put use to my trailer. I move my vehicles with my trucks. I have 2 trucks for a reason. One truck has an issue, I have a second truck for my... I use my trailer to move vehicles. This is what I move. I have a shop. So it's like, if I have to pick up a person's vehicle, I use my truck and I use my trailer. So I have 1 truck, I have 2 trucks. I have 2 trucks and I have my own personal car. And I have a motorcycle. This is normal people's stuff. I've been living in a 518. I know people all over the place. People have trucks. People have trailers. People have a motorcycle. People have a car. So it's like, for that to be a problem for me, only way I can see that being a problem is if it was someone else that lived here. So if we had an extra person that lived here and I was sharing it with someone, then I'd be like, okay, but right now there's no one that lives here right now. And if he was going to move someone here, and I'll be like, all right, well, he's about to move someone here. I got to make space. I'll take my trailer and I'll bring it to my garage. You know what I mean?
Now you say 518. Have you been in Schenectady or did you come from Schenectady?
Oh, I've been in Schenectady for about 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And before that?
I was in New York City, yeah.
Oh, New York City, no, that's too much for me.
Yeah. So, I look at it as I have a driveway to put my truck. I have a driveway to put my trailer. I have a driveway to put my car. I have a driveway to put my bike. That's not a crime. The crime is that I have to clean up after his tenants that they left. And the crime is, forget about my truck and that's my personal belongings. So you're upset about my personal belongings? All right, that makes me as a tenant, that would make me want to leave. Because that's my personal belongings. So it's not about me like, hey, I have too much stuff, so I get rid of my stuff. That's just like, well, I have too much stuff for me to stay here, so I'm just going to move another spot. But the biggest problem is not me owning stuff. The biggest problem is that he hasn't came and fixed the stuff that's inside of the house. Like, the living situation is not humane. I can't cook. I have no heat.
Well, to be honest with you, you and I see eye to eye pretty much. I gotta be honest with you, no stove for 2 years, no heat, you say, for 7 months or 6 to 7 months. And many people would say, I'm moving out of here, I'm not staying here, but yet you stay.
Well, I want to make sure we go to court.
Okay.
That's why, because I feel like that you're not going to get away with that. You can't just get away with, okay, I'm going to stop fixing your house and make you want to leave your house. Like, that's not right. And that's not, imagine if I had to deal with that every place I went. Imagine me just going somewhere and then I'm paying rent there and I'm starting to get comfortable there. I'm painting the house. I'm just doing things around the house, and then all of a sudden a guy just wants to stop, like, fixing your house and so you can leave. Instead of saying that...
I mean, landlords should fix properties and not use that as a reason to make people leave. But in the long run, when you think about it, no stove for 2... I can't have a stove without a day or two.
The same way...
In 2 years, I would never tolerate
the same way that he like to take me to court for, like, not paying rent, I want to take him to court for not fixing property. I mean, he completely went AWOL. That's not like he came and said he was going to fix it and then come and then, like, fix it. He just didn't come around. He doesn't call. He doesn't came around. He doesn't check. He just went AWOL. He disappeared. He disappeared, and the only way I speak to him is if he's sending paperwork about like court, and that's a coward way of going about things. It's not right, and I'm not going to let it go. So that's why I'd rather us go through court. It's not him just want to take me to court, me trying to run away from court. I'm glad that we're going to court because I'm hoping that
Going to court for?
everything
No, I mean, what are you going to court for?
Oh, right now on his end, we're going to court for rental for payment.
Okay.
And I pressed for code enforcement to take him about my living conditions. Okay. So I have the paperwork with the code enforcement about the living conditions. So when I talk to the judge, I'm pretty much tell the judge this is the reason why he hasn't been getting paid, and we go from there. And whatever we're going to do. But honestly, I don't plan on staying here anyway. I don't want to stay here because I can't trust someone like that. If I have to like take you to court to do your normal responsibilities of like repairing things where people live in, and I'm giving you my money, like you gotta think about the amount of money that I gave him since I've been here. That could have been for me. It could have been a mortgage. I could have owned the house by now. I want us to come to an agreement because I'm not trying to owe you anything, man. Like, right now it says that I owe you something, so we're gonna go to court and get this like dealt with, and then let the judge deal with it. But you can't make it. You can't chase someone out their home. Like I'm not a rodent. You can't just say, hey.
That's what court about. So court will have that and see what happens in court.
Yeah, like magic, literally. Oh, it's still
yeah, it's still. I gotta do that, and then I gotta head back out.
I'll let you head out.
All right, Orlando, take care.
Your
Oh, thank you. That's all right. Thank you, Orlando. Bye-bye now. Well, as we've seen, Orlando had much to say about his landlord and the conditions of the home inside and out. We appreciated him being interviewed by us. And we'll see what happens in the next few weeks in the courts that are hearing the cases regarding him and the landlord. Until then, this is Matt Lyman from the Landlord Advocates. Back to you, Joe, in the studio.